So ideally, any application deployment requires only two stages. One is the web application, and other one is the standalone application. Only there are two types of applications that are revolving in the market. Out of that, most of the use cases in the real time that we are going to work, or no, like that we are already working, will be web application, because that is very easy to make a business. So if I want to sell some product, I can list it in Amazon or Flipkart. That's a web application. I can post my ad in Facebook or YouTube. That's a web application. I can watch videos in YouTube. That is a web application. So all the business that we are making, right, all of them are uh, around this web application. Okay, so web application is very important. That's the reason we will have to understand how we can create a web application and work with a web application. Okay, so how this web application is written? Okay, this web application, any application needs programming. Okay, only with the program and code we will be able to develop an application. And specifically for this web application, we need HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Only with this three technology we are able to develop a particular programming language. Okay, develop a particular source code and deploy that source code in the server. Okay, so in which server we will deploy our web application? So can someone tell me in which server we can deploy our web application?
In a web
So where do
server,
we deploy our web application?
in a web server, either
In the web
Windows or
server.
Linux.
And the server can either be Windows or Linux. Okay, we need a web server, and this web server is called as a middleware, and this can be installed on top of Windows or Linux. We have already seen how to do it on Windows in the previous session. Today we are plan to decide, plan to see how we can do that in Linux server. Okay, right. So the steps to create a web application: I have to create a server and then install a web server, which is a middleware, and then we will have to identify the deployment folder and push the source code into this deployment folder. Okay, so where I will get the program code for the web application, I have used a sample web application for the demo purpose, which is taken from internet, and the application name is Photo Vibrant. So people who have followed last week class would have got the zip file in the group, correct? You can use the same application to deploy. Okay, and for Windows Server to log into it, I need port number 3389. And Linux server to log in, I need port number 22. In the same way, if I want to view the web application, I need port 80 to be open on this Linux or Windows server that I'm going to create. Okay, this is the quick introduction that we will see. We have seen last week created a application. Okay, any questions until this point? So can we go ahead and create our Linux server? I think I already have a server, but let me quickly create one for the demo. Uh, so I'll create a Linux server quickly. Okay, web application server. Create a virtual machine. Name this virtual machine as. Okay, I'm keeping it in the test group, and I'm going to name this as web app. And the operating system that I'm going to use for this demo is Ubuntu. And during this process, I have to create a key pair. So web app underscore key is the key pair that I'm going to get. And at the bottom, very importantly, we will have to allow HTTP traffic. 22 is the port which is used to connect to Linux server. In the same way, there is something called as 80 port, which is the web port, which I need to keep it open to access my web application. Next, networking, management, monitoring, advanced tax review create. Okay, so I'm keeping all these configurations as default. We'll be viewing each one of them in the upcoming sessions, but for now, I'm going to keep it uh, empty or with default values. With this, I'm creating this particular server. Click on create. Download private key and create resource. So download the private key by clicking this option, and you will be able to access the server within 5 minutes of the creation time. Okay, time is 9:24. We will wait for 3 minutes and then we will connect to the server. Okay. Okay, so I've given 2 minutes. So now I'll try to connect to the server. So I hope most of you have created one Windows and Linux server and you have connected to it. So if you have any problems, let me know. Easiest way to connect is through command prompt. Okay. So what you will do, you'll go to the folder where you have your PIM key, the file that we download, right? You have this here. Okay. So click here, type cmd, and you will get your command prompt open from your downloads directory. Okay. Now what you will do, you will type this command called as ssh hyphen I is the identification file, web app key is the key name, followed by the server IP address and the username. So server IP address is this one. Copy it, copy, and the username of the server is Azure user. So Azure user at the rate this particular IP. When you click enter, it will ask you whether you can copy the fingerprint. So say yes, and you will be logged into the server. So you're all set and you have connected to the server. Okay. So anybody have any doubt until this point? So is there anybody who needs help in connecting to the server? So who has tried and know like this connecting to the server didn't work for them? Is there anybody?
No.
Okay. So I assume that everybody has access. Okay. So now what you have to do, it says this. Okay. So run the command as administrator to use a root account. Okay, so I have to become a root account to become an administrator. So what I will do is like I'll type this command called a sudo, which has admin privilege, and then what I will do, I'll type this command as su means switch user with administrative privilege. I have to switch user to the username called as root. So this root user is the administrator user for Linux, and he will have the utmost permission. So if I want to do installation or anything, I have to become a root user to work. Okay. So I switched myself from a normal user mode to the administrative user mode. Now I'm going to install the middleware. That is our second step, correct? Eh, So first what we will do, we will create a server. Second step, we will create a web server or a middleware. Okay. So for Windows, we have choose something called as IIS, correct? The same way for Linux, I'm going to choose something called as Apache. Okay, the server that you have to create is Apache. I'm going to use something. Okay, this is called as a package manager in Linux. Okay, this is called as a package manager in Linux. Okay, with this package manager only, I'm going to create an application. So what I do, there is something called as package manager, and this package manager has all the components in it. Okay, this package manager has all the component. So what I do, I have a server and I want to install something on my server. So I have a server and I have to install something on my server. So how I will install, I will download it from the package manager. So you guys know previously in our session we use something called a server manager. Here we use for something called as package manager, and the command that we are going to give is install. So what is the package manager name? This package manager name is called as yum. So using yum, we are going to install. Okay. So let me quickly name it as yum package manager. Or for Ubuntu, we call it as apt. For Red Hat, we call as yum, and Ubuntu, we call it as apt. So what command I'm going to give is, I want apt, and I want to run this command called as install and the application name. So the application name, the web server application name that we are going to use today is Apache 2. So if I want to install any other application, I will have to use the command called apt install application name. Okay. So shall we run this command on the Linux server? So apt install Apache, and the version of Apache is 2. Click enter. It will ask whether I can install it or not. Click Y to allow it to install. And once you click Y, it will install this on your Linux server. So is it clear at this point, or do you have any questions?
Clear, but can you say that command in the
So you
chat?
want to see? Do you want to see the command or how it is?
Yeah, I would like to see the command.
Okay, so I'll give you another command. Okay, so this command is called as history. So what this history will do is it will allow you to see all the commands that you have executed. So now I have executed only two commands. One is apt install Apache 2, and the second command is history itself. Okay, if anybody want to note it, just note it down. So if you say yes in the chat, I'll proceed.
Vignesh, where we have to use yum command?
So
Yum.
yum, instead of apt, you can use yum in Red Hat operating system. So Red Hat,
Right.
Amazon Linux, those places we can use yum. And if you are using Debian or Ubuntu, you have to use apt. So yum is also a package manager. Apt is also a package manager. But for each and every operating system, there will be a different package manager. So as I said, for Red Hat, CentOS and all, we can use yum. For Ubuntu, Debian and all, we can use apt.
Okay.
Okay. So any
Okay.
questions? Clear?
Now yeah, clear.
Great. So now I have to download the web application. Okay, I've installed something called as Apache 2. Assume that you have a VLC media player. I don't know if I have VLC media player. VLC, I don't have VLC. But Windows Media Player I have. Okay, for example, I'm saying. So if I just have the Windows Media Player, will I be able to watch movie? No, right? I have to double click and open this, and only then I'll be able to watch movie, right? The same way, even if we have installed Apache 2, we cannot use this web server. We have to start this particular web server. We have to open this server. How to open? What is the command to open? It is service application name is Apache 2 and the command is start. So once you start it, it says that you Apache service is not found. The reason is I have installed the Apache of version 2 that I have not mentioned. So service Apache to start will allow it will start the web application for me. Now what I will do, I will check the status whether it is running or not. To check the status, what is the command that I have to use? Service Apache 2 status. You see, status is running. Okay, 3 minutes 18 seconds back I have installed this application. Okay, now what is the deployment folder for this? I know the deployment folder because I have been using this Apache for more than 5 years now. Okay, so for the people who are new, just make a note of it. It is var www.html. That is the folder that we can use to deploy the application. And to go inside this folder, I have to use a command called as cd. So cd means change directory to var www.html. Click this out. You are into this folder called as var www.html, which is the deployment folder. Okay, so to check where you are, you can use this command called as pwd. Okay, print working directory. Okay, so we are in this folder. It has told us. So how we will download our application from internet to this web application server? That is the next question. Go to Google, type photo vibrant web template. Like this. So this application is not available on internet. So I have to look for alternate options. Okay. So what I will do, go to images. So I'll go here. I'll see if there is any other web template website that I can use. Okay. So only then I'll be able to show you how to download, correct? Give me 1 minute, I'll quickly search out one. For some reason, people sample web template free download. So let me go to one of the templates and I click on download. So it is downloading as a zip format, correct? Okay. So let me use this web application. Okay. Right click this particular download option and there is a option called as copy link address. Okay. So copy this link address and go to your server, type a command called as wget followed by this URL. Click on enter. It will download. So what is this wget? Wget is a command that is used to uh, download anything from internet. Okay. So now what I will do, I will list this folder to see what is there inside. So I have got only one folder which is called as carrynet.zip. So I want to unzip this file. There is a command called as unzip, but it will work only when you have this zip utility, unzip utility. So at current state, my machine does not have this unzip utility. So to download from the package manager, can someone tell me what is the command? So I have a package manager. I want to install called something called as unzip. So what is the command I can use to install it? Can someone construct a command for me to download the package from this package manager called as unzip?
apt install
Install.
zip
That's it.
unzip.
Apt install. Great.
Zip or unzip. Unzip.
So Linux is very simple, right? You can learn it very quickly. So unzip is installed. Now I can run the same command called as unzip uh, carriernet.zip. So when I unzip, I will get lot of files extracted from this zip folder. Okay, and it is deployed to, because we are already in the deployment folder. If I do ls-l, I'll be able to see this application file. Okay, carriernet.html. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to go to this folder called as uh, carnet.html, and here if I list and see, I'll have lot of application. So what I will do is I will click on, okay, let me quickly go to my server IP address. Sorry, copy this IP address, go to internet forward slash carnet underscore html. If I type this, I'll get my web application visible for me. So this is the web application that I have deployed from my Linux server. Okay, this is the IP address and this is the application name, correct? How many of you agree with me? So now you guys tell me, is it easy to deploy a web application with Linux server and Windows server? So Windows we have seen yesterday. So Linux we are seeing it today. How do you feel? It is easy or difficult?
CC only.
Easy only with some practice. So what I would
We need
suggest
practice.
you is, I will suggest you to note down these commands. These commands are very important. I'll type history again. So if you just repeat these commands, you'll be able to deploy your web application. So these are the commands that that I have used to deploy the web application on top of Linux server. Okay. So I'll give you 5 minutes. Just make a note of it and just type yes in the chat. I'll understand that you're completed, and then I'll proceed to the next step. Have you guys copied? Great. So what I will do, I will also uh, post this lines in our chat group so that you can view it. For the people who have not joined, they can go through it. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll maybe stop today. So let it be the smaller session today. We will discuss about the domain name server tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow it is again one of the very important topics where we will be converting this particular IP address. So today we have used only the IP address, correct? So we will deploy, we will convert this IP address to a domain name, and then we can give the domain name to our audience, and we can uh, access this application. Like how if we click Facebook, the Facebook page is getting loaded, right? In the same way, we will create our application. We will enhance this application to use domain name instead of IP address. So that will be the objective of tomorrow's session. Please join the session. It will be very interesting, and it is one of the important concepts. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, I can help you. If not, we can close today and we will continue from tomorrow. Okay.
Vignesh, I have
Anybody,
one
any
doubt.
questions? Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, when you install the first Linux machine, you have selected two port, right? One is HTTP and another one is SSH, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So yesterday what I have done is I've created the server with RDP, and after configuring or deploying the application, I went into networking and I have opened port number 80. Correct. That is an alternate way of doing it. Else we can directly while creating the server itself, we can allow port number 80, so that no, like I don't have to do any configuration later. So that's the reason I open this port number 80. And this port number 80 is a web port which will allow you to deploy applications and no, like view application on internet.
Okay, I have one more doubt.
Yeah, yeah, please.
The carrion.zip file, do we need to download it into our Linux machine, or I mean, we have.
You will have to download it to the Linux machine. There are two ways we can do. One is we can directly download it to Linux machine. The second way is like we can download it to our computer, and using some tools we can push this to our Linux server. So
Okay.
that is an alternate way. I mean, if you are interested, you can explore that. You can do it with WinSCP. Tomorrow at the beginning, I will show you how to push this file to through WinSCP to the server, and then we will start. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want, you can try this out using this tool. Else tomorrow I'll show you like how you can push any data from your local computer to remote server.
Okay. Can you please paste that carrion dot that URL?
You need this URL. Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Copy
Thank you.
and in the chat I'll give you. Okay. Just make a note of it.
Vignesh, I have one doubt.
Yeah, please.
Uh, After download that PEM file, you have given some command na, while connecting that Linux server. Have you
Huh.
connected Linux server from that PEM file folder to
Correct, correct. I
that?
have connected it from that folder only. And do you need the
Yeah,
command of it?
yeah, yeah. I need.
So to log out of Linux server, type log out
Okay.
and you'll be out. Log out, exit, exit. So you have now logged out of the Linux. Okay. So
Hmm.
the command that I've used is ssh-i, and the key pair name that you are going to keep for your key, followed by Azure user. That is the username that I have created, and the IP address is the dynamic IP address that I got from Azure. So this command you have to reconstruct in a way that your account ID, username, and no, like this PIN key is created.
Okay, Vignesh. Okay, understood.
Got it. So any questions?
The final one, how we run that, the last command in that application. Uh, we need to run /var /ww /html,
Ah,
then
like in Windows, we had something called as inet pub and www root, correct?
yes,
The same way in Linux, this is the folder. So in this
yeah,
folder only, you'll have to deploy the application. So if you don't do that, you will not be able to access the application.
okay, no, okay, I got it. In the Linux machine, you run the last command, right? For then you went to File Explorer, then put the IP address, then carry net data streamer, right? So before that last command in the Linux machine, that's for CD. Uh,
CD, okay.
CD, yes.
So it is like in my server. Okay, if you see in the server, so when I unzip my folder, it created an, I mean, unzip the zip file, it created an folder. Okay, so that folder, inside that folder only the application was kept. Let me show. So here, this is the deployment folder. Here in this deployment folder, I have another folder, car int HTML. So my application is kept here. So I switched into this folder, car int.
Got it. Yeah. Thank
Okay, so if you want to keep it in the root, you can still keep it in the root. So what I have to do is I can use this command called as copy. So everything from the current folder to var www html folder. So I'm copying all the content from car int folder to html folder recursively -r. Okay. Now I don't have to mention this current here. So directly when I call the IP, my application will be loaded. You are getting the point, right?
you. Yeah. Got it.
Yes, yes.
I have one question.
Yes, Karthik.
In case if you want to deploy secure applications like HTTPS, you need to open the inbound access for port number 443 or not?
If you have a SSL certificate and all, like if you want to deploy it on 443, we can still do it. Uh, HTTPS port number is 443, but it is not mandatory that you will always use 443 for HTTPS. Okay, so even with the 80, you can use SSL certificate to deploy and not like view this application in HTTPS in a secure socket layer. Yeah, did I answer you?
Yes.
Got it. Great. Is that all? Shall we meet tomorrow?
Yeah, Vignesh.
Yeah. Sure, Vignesh.
Okay, thanks guys for joining. Have a good night. We'll meet tomorrow.
Yeah, Vignesh. Good night.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.